They're just 24 hours old, and these Australian Labradoodle puppies are all thriving. Hi, I'm Claire from Mandy Labradoodles, and these are our Petite Australian Labradoodle puppies from the aptly named Petite Poinsettia litter. These puppies were born yesterday morning on December the 2nd, and this is Mandy's very first litter. Isn't she just the prettiest little girl? And not only does Mandy have the most adorable good looks, she's also just one of our sweetest little girls that we have. Very polite, very accommodating, and just a sweet girl. She's doing very well with her mama duties. And in today's video, we are going to talk a little bit about the whelping process, how it all went for Mandy and her puppies. And we're going to introduce you to each of the puppies as much as Mandy's comfortable with. So first of all, I want to apologize. Reynolds and I are both still under the weather. We may have to shut the video down fast if I have one of my coughing spells. So we'll try to get through everything while I still have my voice and without coughing. But what we want to start with first of all is Mandy. Mandy's doing great. It's amazing how rapidly dogs recover from really any sort of medical issue, and that includes birth. So right after Mandy gave birth to her babies, which took her just very short period of time, only about 90 minutes, a little bit more than 90 minutes to have 6 babies, she was within an hour after having delivered them jumping up in the air to say hi, wagging her tail, bounding around outside. It's incredible. Yes, she was tired. She was definitely tired, but she still had lots of energy and lots of get up and go. And she was running around like really you would have no idea that anything had happened. So what happened was on yesterday, what was going on was in the morning, Mandy didn't eat breakfast. And that's fairly unusual for her. She didn't want anything. The night before at dinner time, she had had a little bit for dinner, but she hadn't really had a big appetite, which isn't unusual for girls when they're pregnant. Although generally speaking, just about 24 hours before they deliver, they have a really big meal to stock up on some energy there. But she didn't really have much dinner, she didn't have any breakfast, and she started shivering. So shivering is always an indication that your girl has gone into what we call stage 1 labor. As dogs go through 2 stages of labor, and in the first stage what's happening is they are having contractions, just they're not visible on the outside of their body. And those contractions get the puppies lined up in the uterine horns. There are 2 uterine horns and ready to be delivered. So that's what you see, and when you see the shivers, it's because it's uncomfortable. And so Mandy was giving us some shivers, but no panting and no digging, nothing else, totally normal, running around, having a good time. So no eating and some shivers, but definitely those are signs that puppies are about to arrive. So we went through our day. Reynolds was feeling particularly unwell, and we were really hoping that she wasn't going to have them during the night. We had our fingers crossed that we were going to luck out and have yet another daytime delivery. We have just had the best run for about a year now, where almost all of our litters have been born during the day. I think we've only had one that was actually born in the night in at least the last 10 litters or so. It's just been miraculous, because that's definitely not the norm. So by dinner time, she was a little bit more shivery, but by bedtime, nothing spectacular had changed. So we got everything ready. Everything was all set up, and we went to bed. We were in bed early, probably by about 9:30. And she was a little bit uncomfortable. She'd get up, pace around, but she went to sleep. So I ended up being awake all night, partially because I was watching her. When it's the girl's first time, you don't know what to expect from her. So I wanted to make sure she knew I was there and that she could come and sit by me at any time she wanted to. She was fine. She went in her crate, actually. Another really good reason why having dogs comfortable in their crates is so important. And she probably fell asleep. She did get up and come and see me a few times during the night. She checked in, and then she did a couple of times do some digging, but nothing really fast and furious, just digs here and there. She was throwing the cushions out of the beds and everything. And then at about 6:30 in the morning, I could tell she was getting to be a little bit more serious. So I got up and kicked our dogs out, and we closed all the doors in our bedroom, turned the heater on, and got the room up to 24 degrees, which is really warm. And then the digging started fast and furious, and the pillows were flying and things were happening, and she began to push just before 7, and she was only pushing for maybe about 6 minutes before puppy number 1 arrived. So it was a completely uneventful, entirely predictable, lovely, smooth delivery. You could not have written it in a textbook to be more mundane, which is what we're always aiming for when we're talking about a birthing experience. Absolutely zero issues with any of the puppies. We do have one puppy who is considerably larger than the rest of them, and that's Orange Collar Boy. But even with him, there was no problem delivering him. He didn't require that I assist in any way whatsoever. Now, I did take the puppies out of their sacks because Mandy, of course, this being her first time, wasn't exactly sure what it was all that she was supposed to do. But once the first 2 puppies were born, she caught on right away, and she was eager to participate and take an active role in delivering the puppies. So she really just took to it all naturally. She did really just a remarkable job. There was not too many complaints going on. She stayed where we wanted her to stay. We didn't have to argue with her about staying on the whelping nest. And once we had the 5 puppies, which is what we had expected, we offered her some food, and she was like, yeah, I'm interested, but no, I don't want to eat. So we're like, I bet you there's a number 6 somewhere. And sure enough, she got right up and delivered number 6 before we even really had a chance to talk about it. And again, it was all smooth, no problems, nothing happened at all. So once that was all done, Reynolds put a collar and a leash on Mandy, took her out the front. She didn't want to go. He had to pretty much carry her out the door, but she did need to have a chance to go to the bathroom. And I plopped all the puppies into a box and brought them in here into the maternity room, which was already set up, of course, and pre-warmed for the puppies' arrivals. Now, the one surprising thing about this litter is the first 5 puppies are all boys. Is that unusual? Yeah, but this is our second lots of boys litter. Posey also similarly had a lot of boys and just the 1 girl. So I guess we're currently on a boy trend around here at Van Isle Doodles. Now, if you take a look at Mandy right now, you see she's got her hind leg up on the pig rail there. And if you're wondering why we have these pig rails, which are these white rails, the reason for that is so Mom can't get her body wedged right up against the back here and inadvertently crush a puppy. This happens more often than you would believe. Moms lie on top of puppies, especially beginner moms when they don't really understand where they need to place their body. But Mandy seems to have good natural instincts for where to place herself, because she's, as I'm showing you, got her leg up there already, providing lots of access to the milk bar so everybody can be on at once. We just have to show little Miss Red Collar Girl that she needs to shove her brother out of the way there to find her faucet. if she does. We'll see. We'll let her work it out. And the only other thing that she hasn't quite caught on to yet is that she's actually responsible for keeping the puppies' bums clean. So you'll see a couple of puppies, you'll see it on the white puppies in particular, there's some staining, and that's because she's not really doing a great job in cleaning the poop up. Now, something that's kind of gross if you're a person, but is a fact of life if you're a dog, is when you're a mama dog, you have to stimulate your puppies to go to the bathroom. Their eyes are sealed shut, their ears are sealed shut, and they have no ability to either pee or poop without mom. So mom has to use her tongue to stimulate them to go, and then she consumes everything as well. And that is so there is no trace left for any potential predators to get the scent of the fact that there's newborn puppies. And now I can see that red collar is showing us that she may be the only girl, but she's a mountain climber. And I think I just saw somebody, yeah, we got some poop here. So this puppy is trying to poop, and Mandy's not doing her job. So I'm going to look after that, and you can have the full color experience of puppy poo, which is kind of an orangey color. It's often yellow as well when they're infants. So what I'm using to clean them up with is a specially designed wipe, which is of course very mild and safe for gentle and sensitive puppy skin. So I don't expect it, probably with this on it, that it encourages Mandy to actually lick the bum, because it probably doesn't taste too great. And you can hear there's lots of protests when I do that. But I'm hoping that she is going to start to get the idea here, because you can see it's quite a lot of work keeping up with all this bum cleaning that's going on here. And I'm just gonna get everybody's bum clean.
There's a bunch more on that one.
Okay, thanks, hon. Which, the one I was just cleaning? There. This one or?
No. The one you were cleaning first. No, beside it.
The thing that happens is when you start cleaning bums, it encourages them to go. So once you get a bit coming out, then you end up with even more coming out. Oh. And what we don't want is for them to be having it all over themselves, obviously. There we go. Now we'll see if Mandy takes over and does a little bit of that job now, or if she's going to need us to just keep coming in. Up until now, she was doing not too bad. It's just this morning that I noticed that she wasn't keeping up too well. And part of that is because, of course, the puppies themselves are starting to go a bit more. And now you'll hear there's all sorts of protests and howling and screaming. I need another wipe thing, because nobody likes having this cold, wet, yucky thing on their bum. Okay, kids. Now, I talk to them and tell them it's okay, but of course they can't hear me. Now, we'll just let them get themselves settled down. And now what will we do if Mandy does not start to get the hang of this? How will we get her to understand this is her job? Thank you. Well, one of the tricks that we do as a breeder is we put a little dab of peanut butter on their bums. And that encourages mom to then lick the peanut butter off, which gets them into the, oh, right, this is my job. Usually it comes to them naturally, and this, if it happens at all, is a very short-lived thing. We've had a couple of girls who didn't really catch on, and we did have to do most of it for them. So we're hopeful that Mandy will catch on, because we preferred if the moms do it. So now let's go through each of the puppies, and we're going to start in birth order. We're going to do every video update we do, the puppies will always be presented in birth order. So the firstborn is Mr. Blue Collar, who is right over here. Just a minute, I have to go through them because I don't know them all yet. Here's Mr. Blue Collar. Now, one thing we won't know for sure at this point is whether a puppy is going to be a caramel, an apricot, or a red, because that's determined by their nose color. And as you'll see, all of their noses right now are pink. So until their noses start to fill in, we're not going to know. So we're going to say that this is probably, he's either going to be a caramel or an apricot. He's not a red because he's not dark enough. And he's got markings just like Mandy. You'll see the white on the face and on the head there. And Mr. Blue Collar was the first puppy born at 7 a.m. precisely. And he was 184 grams. Now, if you can lick his head, because he has some poop on his head, we'll get you to clean him up there, okay? Good girl. And while she's busy doing that, the next puppy that was born was Black Collar. He's over here, I believe, with a dirty bum. Hello, darling. There's Mr. Black. Now, Mr. Black is either an apricot or a caramel party. He's got lots and lots of pretty markings on him. These markings, some of which have a little bit of the orange staining on them, you can see, and they'll just end up getting darker and darker as time goes on. Now, this puppy was quite a bit bigger than his brother Blue. He arrived just 8 minutes later at 7:08, and he was 232 grams. And he's got all the pretty marking on his eye there, which, as I said, as time goes on, is just going to become darker and darker. Then after that, we had Green Collar. And Green Collar's just over here. I'm going to let Green Collar stay nursing. Green Collar's the smallest puppy in the litter. And I always like the greens. I always like the smallest ones to have as much opportunity to nurse as possible for the first few days, just so that I'm making sure they're getting all they need. Now you can see he is also either an apricot or a caramel party, or red maybe. And look at how many markings he has on his head. Quit trying to butt in. It's not your turn yet. No, it's not your turn yet. You come over here so we can see little Green. Let's see. Oh, I think he's actually finished nursing. He's still attached, but he's not actually nursing. There we go. Now we can see him. There we go, handsome boy. This little guy has all sorts of fun markings. I love his marking on the top of his head here. Both of the sides of his faces are really well marked. Lots of good marks on his body, including one on the side. And both of his eyes are also well marked. He's just a real cute little guy. 232 grams at 7:08. I'm sorry, 173 grams at 7:27. So at 173 grams, he is definitely smaller than everyone else. And you can see he's just a little skinny guy, but I can feel already that he's got a nice full tummy. So he's robust and strong and doing really well getting his fair share at the milk bar there. Then we have Yellow Collar. And Yellow Collar is this puppy here. Come here, sweet boy. And this guy, he's either going to be an apricot probably. He might be a red, but I think he's probably an apricot or a caramel. I can tell you, you can see how dark Mandy is, and she has gotten darker over time. So it's quite possible that these puppies will also darken and become more of a red color, or they may be caramel. We just don't know yet. And who cares what color they are, really? What matters is what's inside. Pretty little white marking on the front of this little guy's face. And Yellow was born at 8:12. That was our paws. We had 3 and then a little wait and then 3 more. And Yellow Collar was 213 grams. There you go, sweetie. Then we had Orange Collar Boy. And this was what I thought was going to be our last puppy, and that we were going to have only boys. Orange Collar, again, either caramel, apricot, or red, and a party. Lots and lots of fun markings on this puppy too. Lots all over the head, on both sides, around the eyes. Markings down the back, just a little bit down at the bottom here. This is going to be a stunning puppy. And Mr. Orange was the biggest puppy at a whopping 257 grams. So 257 for the biggest and 173 for the smallest. That's quite a big difference. And then our bonus puppy, Miss Red Collar Girl. And she is a red puppy. It's possible she'll be a red caramel, but I'd be surprised. I'm pretty sure she's going to be just like her mama, and she's going to have all of that beautiful dark fire engine red color. She's got a little bit of white on her face. Really pretty girl. And she was born at 8:40 a.m. and 223 grams. So very nice weights, nice, fairly consistent there. And everybody's just doing great. Now all that they have to do for this first week is just eat, sleep, and repeat. And for Mandy, all she has to do is the same except for feed everybody and learn to clean bums. Yes, we need you to learn to clean bums. So that's our update for today. That's our birth announcement. We will be doing weekly updates, of course, for you. And we hope you follow along right through to allocation day and watch these little guys as they continue to grow and thrive. If you've got any questions or you just have something you'd like to say, please drop us a remark in the comments section, and make sure you're subscribed to our channel and hit that bell icon so that you get notified whenever a new video comes out. We urge you to watch all of our updates. We have another 2 litters. They're older and going home in not too long from now. But every time we have a litter, though there is information that is repeated, we do try to tell you something new each time. And so it's always fun if you can join along and get to know a little bit more about puppies and how they develop for the first 8 weeks. So we hope you enjoyed the video. Oh my goodness. See, now this is why we have the pig rails. And amazing, the puppies can't hear, but they can sure make a big squawk when they need to let mom know, hey, excuse me, you just laid on top of me. It's pretty hard to mistake that you've done that. Poor Mandy gave her a little bit of a scare there. So we hope you enjoyed today's video, and we'll see you again next week. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, Mandy.